Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coast Files, your podcast for ocean mysteries and true crime. I'm Chantel.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Megan, and Chantel's sick.
I'm very
Poor
stuffed
Chantel.
up right now, and it sucks.
Just
My
the
head
most beautiful mouth breather I've ever seen.
Yeah, anybody watching, my mouth is going to be open this entire time. I cannot get anything through my nose right now. Like, it's bad.
And for those listening, I mean, I guess we apologize. It's just, it's life, man.
Sorry, our
I'm
friend is
hoping-
just so disgusting right now.
I know, I can't.
She can't
I
help it.
Maybe it's better that you don't look. You know, just don't look.
Thanks. I don't know. I feel a little warm right now too, but my hands could also just be really cold. So I don't know.
Well, I
what's
mean, you're
happening.
sick. You're going to
We're just
feel
falling
hot and
apart.
cold at the same time.
But I got a really cool
Yeah.
sweater on right now. That's all that I was gonna say.
Do you want to describe it
Did
for those that are?
make you wear this?
Well, actually, her birthday is tomorrow. So yeah,
right?
it looks like it's Samus, but this is a black cat with licking its lips with one leg closed, one eye closed. But
you're
it's
not
like a galaxy sweater.
But you're not really
got
painting the
stars all over
picture. It is a dark long sleeve shirt, and the cat's
The
head
sweater.
is the entire sweater. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
And the cat's head is the entire
Yeah.
torso. Like
Yeah,
the
it's
ears are up by the shoulders.
Yeah.
Like it's the biggest cat head I've ever seen. And it looks a lot like Samus.
It's exactly what you'd expect a crazy cat lady to wear.
Yes. Although one better would be not one big head, but thousands of tiny cat heads everywhere.
Well, I have my cat backpack, which is what's it called? Jansen? Those ones?
yeah, like the ones
Yeah.
you know, Walmart.
Oh,
right?
I know
The-
what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah,
It's like the
you
space
know,
one
it's-
with cats.
It's a space one. It's purple.
I
It has
have a
cats all over it, and a
request.
couple of dogs, actually.
I have a request. When you're feeling better and you get a shower in the morning, you're like, I'm going to do makeup and look cute. I request a photo with head to toe as much cat gear as possible.
Oh, done.
Yeah.
So
Just, you know when you're like
crazy
feeling
cat
like
lady
you're
to the
when
next
you're
level.
feeling good,
I can
put
do it.
on everything just so that we have
And
like a
hold
nice
my
photo
cat.
to share. Obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, I one time went to the vet and I was taking Sam's to the vet. I was wearing this sweater and I had my cat backpack on. And that was when I found out that she had asthma, and I didn't know that yet. And like they were keeping her to do x-rays of her lungs. And, you know, a vet's there telling me that my cat might have an issue with her lungs. And so I immediately start bawling my eyes out. And I'm like, I must look so crazy right now. Because I
Well,
didn't even realize
no,
what I
it's
was
your
wearing and what
baby.
I had on. And I was just like, yeah, but just like I was cat to the max that day and just like bawling my eyes out about my cat needing an x-ray. They weren't even like, she's dying. They were like, we're going to do an x-ray. And I'm immediately like,
You don't have
She's
to
cancer.
explain. I think
Yeah.
anyone
She
that
has
has
a little
pet
cold.
or
Oh my
child
God.
gets it.
yeah, exactly. I was beside myself. Anyways, that day cost me $1,000. So, but
Okay,
we
so
found out
that is
she
another
has
reason to be
asthma.
sad.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
More
the
tears
fact that
came
cats,
later.
the cats that
Yes.
have those little ailments and cats that have colds, I still like. It's not that I don't have empathy. I just don't like. It just sounds ridiculous. But
I
like,
know it's
but like
I
when
have a
my
cat with
cat,
asthma.
my
She has
cat's
a
on
puffer.
special food because she can't digest protein.
protein. Yeah, your
She's
cat
a
is
carnivore.
Cats have
That's
so
our-
many unique challenges.
Jesus Christ.
They do.
Oh.
They do. But my baby's
Still-
gonna be 10 tomorrow.
How?
Lindsay, can you believe that?
Sweet
I really
baby.
can't, because I feel like you just brought her home when I was living with you.
I know,
And
which was like
how?
yesterday.
And you
How
mostly
is
got her
she
as a
not
kitten.
10 years
so
ago?
10 years is legit because my cat's also 10, but I've only had
Yeah.
her since 2021. So
Yeah.
you've had yours like a full 10 years. That's incredible.
Yeah, but that also
Yeah.
means that Lindsay moved to Toronto 10 years
10
ago.
years ago. I know.
And
Like,
it's
how
already
is that?
gone. I don't understand how time works anymore.
Yeah.
Well, time doesn't exist.
And I lived there
It's-
with you for 2.5 years. So that's a lot of
Yeah.
time I've been here.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So-
You were
That's
only
crazy.
here for 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We did a lot in two
We
and a half
did. We
years.
did.
I feel like I
We made up for
cohabitated
all
at
that
your
time
house.
that we were
Yeah.
apart. That's what we did.
Yes.
In that 2.5
In each
years.
other's
Oh my God.
space, close quarters.
It still wasn't
No
enough
pants.
No pants.
Oh, we just
No
talked
pants were
about
allowed.
how Chantel may have to start wearing more pants around the house, and that just sucks for her
What?
and
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah,
Why?
I'll tell you later.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
Let's get started because this
All
is a
right.
very sad case.
Okay.
And I just felt like it's been a long time since I cried on the podcast. So I was kind of due. And I think it was either you or Chantel that pointed out that we're coming on it's like the full 1 year anniversary. And my first case was also a doozy. So every year I'll cry
Yeah.
a lot. That's kind of plan.
Great. That's a great thing to do on an anniversary.
Yeah, one positive, we're taking this back home. We're heading back to Halifax,
Well, okay.
and that's kind of where the happiness ends.
Okay.
So if you've clicked on this case, you've read the name, but you may not know the story. And I knew about it a little bit, but it's one of those things where it kind of all happened so quickly, and maybe it was only more newsworthy locally. So maybe not even in Ontario, maybe mostly Nova Scotia. So this is the story of Catherine Campbell. And if you have any, I almost said antidotes, anecdotes. How do you say that word?
Anecdotes.
Anecdotes.
Yeah.
Now I've overthought it. Now it doesn't. It's that's all
No, it's
meaning.
not a word.
No, it's not a word anymore. But if you have any like personal info you want to pop in, just let me finish the paragraph and let me know because you very well could have some personal connection. Okay. Just a warning. It's sad. It's not anything worse we've already done. It's just very sad.
Well, yeah, you already stated you're going to cry a lot, so let's go.
I'm going to try to
Okay.
be strong. Catherine Campbell was born January 15th, 1979, close to our girl Lindsay, and she was raised in Sellerton, Nova Scotia, which is near New Glasgow, which is about an hour and a half from Halifax. I did not know where Sellerton was, but I knew where New Glasgow was, but no one else will know where New Glasgow is, so I put it in relation to Halifax.
Smart.
That's
She got into the law enforcement career a little bit later in life. At age 30, she was an older student at the police academy by about 5 years, but she was known to be friendly with everybody. Eric Viander, who is the deputy director of the Atlantic Police Academy, described her as a very good student and very well liked. Being a cop in Truro, which is another small town, that wasn't enough for Catherine, though. Even before she started down her law enforcement career, she was a volunteer firefighter, and she maintained that role for 10 years, as well as being a cop in Truro for 6 years. So that's I think pretty cool. And if you
Yeah.
look at photo 1, that's our girl Catherine. And this does
She
not
looks
matter,
really familiar.
but like
Like, I
she's
can't get over
she's
it.
gorgeous.
Oh,
So
yeah,
she's
she
gorgeous
is.
and she's a badass, which just makes me like her
Even
immediately.
more?
Yeah.
Okay, now this date, September 11th, obviously is just like a weird date to throw out,
Not
but
a
it just
great date.
happens to, no, it just happens to be the date. So on Thursday, September 11th, 2015, after a long, hectic, and stressful week, Catherine decided she wanted to blow off some steam. So she called a friend and made plans to go out into a bar downtown Halifax. So she lived in Halifax but worked in Truro, which was I think like what, a 30-minute drive?
No, it's like
45?
45 to an hour.
I looked on the map. It's been a
I
long
thought
time
it's
since I've lived home.
yeah, it's at least 45 if
I
there's
think it's actually closer to an hour because we used to have
Mhm.
family in Maitland, which is just before Truro, and
Oh.
that would take
Yeah.
us like 45 minutes to get there.
Like this must be a
Yeah.
cop thing because my brother also works about an hour away from
Well,
his station.
yeah, I think you're actually not supposed to
Oh, to live in your zone?
in your zone. Yeah, I
Oh,
think there's a
Oh.
conflict of interest there or something.
that
I
must be
can't
hard in small
remember.
towns. I don't know.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could just be
That's
saying
well, it's never
bullshit.
happened before. So
Never.
what are
Never.
the
No
odds?
one fact check us ever.
Yeah.
Catherine is a cat girl, so another reason to love her.
Love it.
So she made sure that her cats Blaze and Justice, which I think are really cute
Aw.
names.
Especially for if you're a
Blaze.
cop.
Well, okay, so
Yeah.
Blaze sounds like the bad boy, and
Yeah.
Justice is like the goody two shoes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she made sure that her cats, Blaze and Justice, had fresh food and water, and then called a cab to head downtown to the Halifax Ale House, a popular Celtic themed bar, which now is
Hmm.
super shut down.
Yeah, I know that's really sad.
And a lot of
That was
shit,
like
like
such a
Ale house is shut
staple.
down?
yeah,
Oh,
I know.
Yeah.
okay.
I loved the ale house.
Yeah, I used to
I-
picture
I've-
on
I-
midnight.
I've only been there, I think, once or twice, and once was with Chantel. I think I was home for a visit,
Oh,
and
okay.
Yeah.
then went to the Dome after, and it was like,
Yeah, that's what
We were like,
we
why did we
always
go to the
did.
Dome?
Like once a week,
was
we
fun.
start at the ale house, then you go to the dome.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, not anymore.
Not
Now
anymore.
it's closed down,
Nope.
apparently.
Is the dome even still there? Like,
No.
I don't know.
No,
But I
like-
would
like
never
the-
go back. Those days
The-
are
the-
over.
The Dome, in terms of like its presence,
Mhm.
is gone. The building might
Mm.
still exist, but the Dome itself
well,
is.
because it had Cheers in it. So I think Cheers is still
Yes.
there, is it not?
Wasn't it like no, there's another restaurant where Cheers used to be.
I
Yeah.
haven't lived there in
Oh,
freaking
really?
It's
forever.
actually, like, a
Damn.
nicer restaurant, at least that's the time
Oh,
I
I
was
think I
there.
remember
Yeah.
that. Oh, right,
Why don't we
right.
go to Halifax and explore? Because I haven't
Let's
been
do
there
it.
in ages.
I'm
I
going
feel like
this
I
I'm going in June. You're welcome to join me.
okay. Let me see what I can do. Um, so Catherine and her friend, I'm not sure if they just met there because obviously, you don't always live with your friend, unlike you two who did. So Catherine and her friend got to the bar at around 1 a.m., which is like, damn. And Catherine at this point is like our age. Can you imagine going to a bar at 1 a.m.?
Vadim and I were just talking about that
That's
last
what we
night about
used to do, though.
yeah, it is.
No, no, no. 1 a.m. I would say you got there maybe like
No, you might be
11:30.
moving to
No,
another bar at that
no,
point.
like, going there, like, midnight 1 wasn't weird when we were
Yeah. You would
19.
go to, like, a house first, you'd have some drinks, and then you'd go for, like, when it's
Yeah,
gonna be
you wouldn't even if you
busier.
went at, like, at 11, it would be dead. Like,
Yeah.
you
Okay,
had to
so
wait.
so I
That's
did
why
a
it's
lot of
free to get into bars before 11 is because nobody
it's
goes
dead.
then.
I did a lot of my
Right.
bar hopping when I
Yeah.
was living in St. John's, Newfoundland, and we would try to leave the house by 11:30, but sometimes you would just have so much fun. You'd be like, "Holy shit, let's just
Mhm.
stay here." Because
And
it
they were
would be
open
like,
till 3:30, so it wasn't
well, so that comes up.
Yeah. Right.
So she gets there at 1, which is
okay.
like, damn. I mean, it again, 20s, sure. Mid 30s, I don't know how she did it. And she was having a great time. Her and her friend were drinking, hanging out. And then it was around, this time, I guess, that she encountered Christopher Garnier. It's not known for sure if they had ever crossed paths before. As we know, Halifax is a big, small town, so they could have. But they certainly got very friendly that night.
Mhm.
After some flirting, talking, and kissing, which like takes me back to my single days, the pair decided to leave the bar around 3:40 a.m., which at that point, that's when most bars, I think, kind of empty out and you head out to get pizza or whatever.
Mhm.
Chris
Yeah,
was
you get
there with
that
a friend.
15-minute grace period.
Yeah,
Sorry,
right.
I was blowing my nose.
Chris was there with a friend, but his friend got thrown into the drunk tank,
Mm.
which like for those that don't know, I'm not sure if it's like an actual paddy wagon. But essentially, if you were just too drunk and you're gonna hurt yourself or others or causing a ruckus, you get thrown into the drunk tank, and then a couple of them get taken back to a local jail cell where you sleep it off, and then you have the walk of shame the next day.
Yes.
Yes.
I've known numerous people to have visited the drunk tank.
Oh my
I
god.
myself have not, but
Me
yes, we all
neither.
have the friend
Yeah.
that gets carted off. So, Chris and Catherine are hitting it off. Chris's friend's already gone, and he's actually staying at his friend's house this weekend. So he's like, listen, let's go back to my friend's place. And, I don't have any details on what Catherine's friend said, but it could have been like, hey, you're a grown woman. It's
Mhm.
looking good. Yeah, go and hook up and have fun. Like, that's what I think we all would have done.
Yeah.
She didn't have any bad vibes or anything.
Mhm.
And Christopher's friend's apartment was on Macaulay Street, which I didn't recognize the name, but that is
Yeah.
it's kind of
My
near what the Commons, like North End.
Yeah, it's in the North End. My
Yeah,
friend
it's
used
a
to live
it's
on
a
that
really small
street.
street. So because it wasn't a
Yeah.
huge long one, I didn't think of it, but it's in that zone. It was a 6-minute cab ride away. Hopped in the cab and they're off. On Monday, September 14th, it started off like any other day, but there was something a little bit different. One of the police officers at the Truro police station had failed to show up for their shift. Catherine. A
Oh.
welfare check was called, and the Halifax Regional Police went to her apartment on Windmill Road, and they found her TV on, her alarm clock ringing, and two very distressed cats with empty water and food bowls.
Oh.
Oh,
So, like,
okay.
that would just be like my heart's already racing. It's just the thought of that is just
Yeah.
Yeah.
nothing good. Acting very fast, police were able to figure out when she had left her apartment last, and they used video surveillance to trace her movements from the Halifax Ale House, presumably seeing her get into a vehicle, the one that had taken her and Christopher to the apartment. And then it
Mhm.
was while scouring the footage from Thursday night onwards, they would come across something very suspicious.
Okay.
So this is insane, and this is probably where it's going to sound familiar. A CCTV camera was angled on the Halifax side ramp to the McDonald Bridge, and this would capture a white man wearing shorts, t-shirt, no shoes, he was at bare feet, pushing a green garbage bin at 4:30 a.m. up a small paved area under the ramp.
Oh, wow.
Footage would track this person coming down Agricola Street, then North Street, heading towards the bridge. Picture 2, I've circled it so you can see it. You
Yeah,
can
it's not
see
very clear, but I
This
can
no.
looks like a
kind of make
UFO.
out.
So the
Yeah.
photo that we'll show, and there is a small clip, but I thought the clip was kind of, what, not that it was repetitive. The clip didn't show a whole lot, but
Okay.
once you know where you're looking, you can kind of see. So the still image just shows kind of the curved road taking you up across the bridge, and what you're looking at is on the other road underneath it, under the overpass, you can see a figure pulling a garbage can. You know, the ones you leave at the end of your street, basically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So police come across this and they go down to the area to investigate. And this is where Catherine's remains would be discovered in the early hours on the morning of Wednesday, September 16th. So she was found under that same ramp to the McDonald Bridge in that same green garbage bin. She had been there for 5 days
Oh,
undetected.
wow.
Picture
5
3
days. Wow.
is a map from, I think it's from a CBC article, and it kind of just shows you where the apartment was on Macaulay Street and then where her body was found. Just for those that maybe
Quite a
aren't
few
familiar,
blocks.
just for reference.
Yeah. I mean, that walk would be at least 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
I mean,
15,
maybe
20.
maybe even longer if you're pushing, carrying something heavy.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
not
on
if
the
you're walking at
body.
mine at Lindsay's speed.
Yeah,
No.
Chantel, we'd be there in 5 minutes for
However,
sure.
Yeah.
maybe don't give future police officers any indication how fast you walk, just for
Oh,
crime issues. So
yeah,
just
right. No, we'll walk
Yeah,
extra slow that
but we
time.
wouldn't have to worry about being caught, Megan,
again,
if we
don't
are so
tell them
fast.
that.
So, just saying.
Uh, Picture 4 is just another photo, a real life photo,
Mhm.
photo,
Oh, wow.
as I choke, of the area where her remains were found.
Okay.
Do you hear
That is
that?
not my kids.
No, it's my neighbors.
No? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
They have a couple kids and they get very mad when they're playing Xbox.
Oh, got you. Jeez Louise.
I'm just happy it's not my kids this time.
Are they
Megan,
done?
It's
do you
actually
have-
her ghost children.
Yeah. Do you have
Yes,
secret
Megan's-
children you haven't told
My
us
ghost
about?
children would be very well behaved. Thank you very much. Okay,
They would
so
just be pulling that red ball down the hallway that randomly comes.
there'd just be
Instead of a horror
balloons
movie.
floating all around me. So clearly the cops had utilized some great CCTV footage, and that aided in kind of tracing the steps of Catherine. And then they found her body this way, but would that help in capturing her murderer? Good news. The police would not have to wait long because the person who killed Catherine Campbell came back to the site of her remains later that day with a trunk full
Idiot.
of supplies, such as, now get your bingo card ready.
Okay.
And if you have any
Yeah.
of these on your bingo card,
Shovel?
Yeah.
close, a tarp, a rope, bungee cords,
Mhm.
and a gas can.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
totally normal. Later on, he's going to
Totally normal
explain.
stuff.
He's going to
Oh,
explain
yeah,
why
I
he
was
has those
just,
things.
Okay, yeah.
So
coming
police
to hang out with
officers
you.
Police
Yeah.
officers testified that Garnier was twice spotted driving by the area where Campbell's body was found. The second time, just hours after police had found her remains. So they saw him before in the area, and then later, when they had actually found out where she was, they saw him again. So, like, I think you
So
would,
the typical returning to the scene of the crime.
like, it's so bad.
Like such a trope.
And also for those that don't know this area, it's not that it's populated per se, because it's kind of like, it's kind of industrial-ish sort of how where you are, but there's people driving through there all the
Right.
time.
There's
Yeah.
And that
homes
is
like up this hill. Like
there's homes on
right
both
there.
sides, and people are walking to downtown. It's not like a populated spot where there's like shops and such, but people are around. So like people would see you.
Mhm.
Um so the second time, when Campbell was kind of driving near, investigators were forced to hide as the car drove right up to where they were parked. But for some reason, he didn't fully stop. And then instead, he turned around and he drove to Clayton Park,
Oh.
where cops
Yep.
followed him, and he was arrested and then interrogated for over 8 hours by police. So
Wow.
Clayton Park's another hot spot for us. That's where
Yes, that's where
Chantel
I grew
lived and
up.
Lindsay. Yeah, and then our high
Well-
school was there.
Technically, I lived in Bears Lake.
Right, but like, I mean, no, because Bears Lake is where the shops are anyway. If
I
you
would
come
call
the
your
area.
area
that road.
Park West.
No, Park West was just below me. I was actually I think we were actually Bears Lake, our road,
Oh,
or maybe it
I
was,
thought
like,
I thought
Lakeshore was still
every
was.
I thought
I
you
would
were
have to
Park
look
West.
again, I don't
Did
remember,
did
this
did
was so
Lacewood
long
Drive
ago.
go all the way up and then turn into Bears Lake
It
Road?
used to stop at Sobeys when I was a kid because I
Oh, and then
lived there
from there
my
on, it was Bears Lake
and
Road
then it was just no, it was just like
or Bears
woods.
Road?
And then
Oh, okay.
they
Sorry, no,
built
I
it.
mean like once they had built shit. I didn't mean like
Oh, yeah.
after
So I
years
don't think
before.
I think it did go to Bears Lake, but I'm not sure um when they built that. But I know they eventually extended it on the other side. People who are listening don't care, but maybe
No.
people
Yeah,
from
Yeah, so
Halifax.
we're gonna start a whole new podcast about just like Halifax roads and areas that have been developed. So okay,
and
we're
what
gonna get
areas
into
which.
the really intense stuff because
Okay.
it's hard to believe that this all happened within like a 5 to 6 day period.
Yeah.
Um so this next part is Chris Garnier's sworn police statement, and it could be a little bit graphic for some, but I don't go into great detail. So I just thought I want to mention that it is a little bit intense and it's a little bit disturbing. So if you do want to skip, that's okay. Maybe skip ahead like a minute or two. Um, but just for those that want to listen, it's not gory. It's upsetting, like
Hmm.
as
Got you.
all my
'Kay.
cases tend to be. On September 11th, 2015, Garnier was out drinking with a friend and was on a break from the relationship with his girlfriend, like it's giving Ross and Rachel.
Mhm.
So when he ended up sorry, he was on a break from his girlfriend when he ended up leaving the bar with Catherine. So he was technically single, but he had broken up with his girlfriend like that night. And that's why he was spending the night at his friend's place for a few nights because he was effectively kicked out of his house. He and his girlfriend got back together the night after Catherine was murdered.
So they broke up
Okay.
for like a day.
So he is the one that pushed for them to get back together. And I have no idea why, but I think because he wanted to just get back to normal life, knowing that he had freaking killed someone.
Right.
So he admits that he and Catherine engaged in sexual activity and that it turned aggressive and rough at Catherine's direction. And it's through these actions that Catherine died accidentally. And Catherine can't
Mm.
defend this or give her side.
Right.
What do you mean by it got rough at Catherine's direction?
So
As
there's
in,
a
like,
few
he got rough with
He's
her?
No,
suggesting that
yeah,
she
there's
wanted to have rough sex, like maybe
exactly.
like choking or
Mhm.
something. I'm
Slapping,
guessing.
Okay, but
but
just to
it
say at
got
her
out of hand.
direction
Yeah,
doesn't
because
mean that
so
she instigated it.
oh, but no,
It
for
just
him
means it
it
was being
does.
done
He's
on
implying
For
that
her.
him it does.
this is all her idea
He
to have
he
dangerous
he
sex.
says in one article he
See,
was uncomfortable and he didn't really want to do it, but she kept forcing him.
oh.
No, like
His
no, choke
statement,
me
though, would make me
longer.
feel like, what are you trying to say here? You're trying to lawyer talk your way into this, like, I am just okay, sorry. His
He's
I
statement
setting
is
up
mean,
dumb.
his
That's dumb.
defense of
it's
he's
like
completely
It's
innocent.
it's
dumb.
Well,
victim
He's
blaming
not.
101
You
and
can
the
tell
victim
from that
can't.
statement that no, okay. Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah. That
I
makes
mean,
me
to be
angry.
fair, you're not meant to like this person. So
Fair, fair.
the
Success.
medical examiner, Dr. Matthew Bowes, concluded that Catherine's death was most certainly a case of homicide caused by manual strangulation. He said to the jury, it would take between 2 and 6 minutes to cause death by strangulation.
Yeah.
Mr. Garnier intentionally squeezed the life out of Miss Campbell over a number of minutes, and such action was not merely a split-second lapse of self-control.
Yeah, no, 100% because I was actually talking to we were watching a movie last night or the night before and I something happened in the movie. I was like, "Oh, they're not dead." He was like, "How are they breathing again?" I was like, "Cuz it takes longer than 30 seconds to choke somebody out." I was like, "It's they might pass out, but if you stop, their body's going to automatically kick up that function again." So,
It's so
even in
weird. The
that
body
point,
wants to
Right.
she
live.
would have been probably passed out at that point depending on how good he was actually strangling her as well
Right.
to, like,
And you think
completely
she
cut
might
things
have
off.
started to like fight a little bit first if she thought, hey, you're not say
He
hypothetically if they were strangling each other for sexual pleasure, once she gets to a point where like, okay, this isn't I'm feeling unsafe now. I don't know.
Yeah, he was strangling her long past the point of her body going limp. That is
Yeah.
what is happening there.
Yeah.
I mean, yes. Like it's just when people
Wow.
use this excuse like things got out of hand, like that one asshole, maybe we'll cover him one day, that piece of shit down in New Zealand who killed that poor beautiful British woman who was there. Remember, it was her birthday. he killed her on her birthday. And then, anyway, you don't
I
know
don't
the story I'm
remember
talking
this.
about?
I
New
know. Maybe this
Zealand?
will be another
No.
story.
Yeah.
That's another
Okay. Well,
episode for you to cover.
hey, if you guys are interested in that, a lot of podcasts have covered it. It's horrific, but
Maybe I have heard it from one of the other ones,
Okay.
but I don't know. We listened to so many. I
Yeah.
don't remember them
Yeah.
all.
it's actually sad how
Anyways.
many cases there are that you can't recall each
I
one
know,
because it just
exactly.
I
happens so
know.
often.
We watched like Dateline in 2020, like Eric and I, and often I will recognize a case. And just because maybe the other one covered it, like Dateline already
Mhm.
covered it, now 2020 is
Oh,
doing
yeah.
it like a year later or something like that. But it's until like I kind of get like see the victim's picture,
Yeah.
like kind of, that's how it jogs my memory, not as
Yeah.
much the name, but
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too is that unfortunately there are so many opportunities to learn about
Mhm.
so many cases that sometimes the names don't stick,
Yeah.
um, which is a shame. And sometimes you tend to know the perpetrator more than the victim because that name just gets out more, which is again like horseshit.
Right.
So, anywho, we're gonna focus back on this case here. Um, Evidence showed that Garnier's DNA was under her fingernails, and a T-shirt was found in the dumpster outside the Macaulay Street apartment, and it was saturated with Catherine's blood.
Oh my
Her blood was
God.
also found in the grooves of the watch face, which belonged to Garnier.
Wow.
So, like,
Covered in her blood. How much? Okay, do you go into where she
So
was
this
bleeding
is
a
from?
little bit.
Okay.
okay.
Keep in mind things that he said just a few
And
minutes ago.
just
So she
and he
died of
confessed
strangulation.
Mhm.
Sorry, go ahead.
he confessed this to someone? Is that what you
So, most of this is from the 8-hour interrogation.
Okay. So after he had
Which
showed up at the site, they were like, we're
So he showed up
interrogating
at
you.
the site twice in one day. On the second time, the cops were noticing him, so they followed him back to Clayton Park, which is where he
Mhm.
was living with his girlfriend. But like they had just kind of broken up, whatever. So
Mhm.
this is like a couple days later. So I guess they had made up because he probably wanted to get back into his routine and like
Right.
pretend everything's normal. I didn't do anything bad. I live in Clayton Park. So it's a couple days later. He had gone back to the site with all those tools to. I mean, I'm going to cover it in a second, but yeah. So he got arrested, and it had been a couple days, and I think he just like, the average human can't do something like this and then just go on. Some do, but some people, like, he just came out after a few hours, well, 8, I guess more than a few. After 8 hours of talking, he just told them everything. And then, of
Yeah.
course, naturally, he goes back and tries to say, "That's not what I meant."
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
Um, okay, so during his confession, he admitted to punching Catherine several times in the face,
oh my
breaking
God.
her nose, and strangling her with his hands.
Did she want
He
that too?
he then admitted that he was returning to the dump site with supplies to move her body.
Oh my
Oh
God.
God.
But then, of course, he goes back to say, like, oh, I felt coerced, whatever.
Coerced
Later,
into punching her into the face multiple
no,
times.
no, coerced to confess to something that he
Oh,
didn't
got
do.
you. Okay, got you. Okay.
Later, during his trial held in December of 2017, he would claim he has no memory of most of the night's events, including no memory of using the green garbage bin to transport her body.
Ugh.
He only started to put things together when he started to see Facebook posts about her disappearance. And that's when he thought, wow, I recognized her. Like, what? Which is
Okay.
I
such a
should
So
go
he's
back
fucking
going
and
with
bury the
like
body.
load of horseshit.
insanity or temporary insanity or something.
That didn't come up, but he was trying to say, like, I have no memory of this. Like, it couldn't have been me.
It couldn't have been
Um,
everything that I said before.
Items from that night are still missing, which to police confirm that there were likely multiple dump sites used. Still
Mhm.
unaccounted are Catherine's shoes, her ID, and the mattress from the apartment.
Oh my God.
Also, a necklace that it was owned and worn by Christopher is
Mhm.
missing. He said he then bought a brand new one in the days after the murder, since it was a gift from his girlfriend and he didn't want her to know that she had lost it. So he
Yeah.
replaced a necklace that he lost in the, chaos of whatever he did.
Moving bodies and
Mm.
mattresses?
But he wanted to replace it that his girlfriend wouldn't ask any questions. And like, he
I
really just
get it.
wanted to get away with it and then go back to his real life and pretend that nothing had ever happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so this
I
is
don't
where
think
it
so,
gets
buddy.
just even more horrendous. So remember all those items that he had in his car when he got arrested,
Uh-huh.
going
Yes,
back
his
to the dump
murder
site?
toolkit.
Mm. So to explain the items in his car on that day, he claimed he was going camping, despite the fact that there was no tent, no
Mhm.
sleeping bag, and no cooking equipment. And then he also had
And
his
no food?
passport. Well, of course, no food. He also had his passport on him, but no driver's license.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I mean,
He
I
was
don't know.
okay.
So he had said to police, I was going to go out to the woods and just think about things
Yeah,
and
what
try
kind
to
of
piece
things?
things together. That's
Yeah,
what he
about
said.
all the murder you just committed.
Yeah. And you just happen to drive by the spot because your memory was just taking you there, right?
Twice.
Twice. Yeah.
I mean, and also just like the fact that he was staying
Yeah.
at that house and there was tons of DNA, like blood everywhere. And
Yeah. He
then
has to clean it up, and he knows he has to be somewhat discreet.
insane. Oh, and also, like, her DNA is on you. But so Christopher would be charged and convicted with second-degree murder and indecently interfering with human remains in the death of Catherine Campbell. He was sentenced. This part always just makes me so mad because it never makes sense to me. He was sentenced to life with no chance of parole for 13 and a half years. So I understand the concept like you're under supervision forever, but at
Mhm.
13 and a half years, you could technically get out and just still be living out in the world.
Did they give him some time served as well? Is that why? Did he
It
have any
didn't
time?
No, this is literally the sentencing. So
Yeah, I don't
so
understand how they come up with these numbers
it's
either.
Right.
Like
well,
it's I
and
thought
the
life
defense.
automatically means 25.
Um,
Oh, well, because it was well, so what did I say? Second degree. So it's not like, he didn't go out and seek her and plan all this stuff. It was like one was in the moment, which is still murder. Like anyway, sorry. Let me just finish. The jury deliberated for less than 5 hours before returning with a verdict, guilty. He would appeal his conviction in part because he says police interview tactics elicited a false confession, but
Okay.
this was denied. And here's the part where I cried, so I'm going to try to be chill about this. If I cry, don't make fun of me. So Catherine
22.
Campbell would be laid to rest with a special memorial on September 21st, 2015. There were hundreds of community members, firefighters, police officers, friends, and family from all over Nova Scotia in attendance. And there was even a parade in her honor leading to the church.
Aw,
I know.
mm,
Don't
that is
that's really
a
nice
nice
of
way
him
to
don't
to
look at
memorialize
photos.
her.
Yeah,
Okay.
God. Gary Thibodeau, a retired police officer with the Truro Police Force who worked with Catherine, said that she was very caring, but she also knew when it was time to be the stronger person and do the enforcement. Fighting back tears, he said she was always the one that was right in the middle of the action and really digging and going. She was a good gal.
That's
Mm,
so nice.
I'm fine. Hold on.
So people liked her is what you're saying.
You can assume she lit up a room.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can assume you can pull out your victim bingo
Oh,
now.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Um, Catherine's Aunt Mary addressed the service speaking of Catherine's character. Once she set a goal, she accomplished it. She was brave and beautiful. Fuck.
Megan, I don't know why you do this to yourself.
Yeah, you need to not pick these sad cases.
It's been a long time since I've done that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, you have your 1 a year, and this is it. Okay.
Yeah.
Just let me just mentally try to move past this and get to a place where I can say it.
Okay.
Once she set a goal, she accomplished it. She was brave and beautiful and sweet and strong. She will be forever loved and never forgotten. Catherine loved making a difference in the community and talking to children. A fun story that she shared from her childhood was when Catherine was 8 years old, she tried to set up her own ice cream cart by phoning an ice cream company unbeknownst to her parents. Thought that was really cute.
Right. She
That is
phoned an
cute.
ice cream company.
She was
That's
eight
To get
years
some
old.
supplies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I need some investors right now,
She
actually.
saw people doing like lemonade stands, and she's like,
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
think I
that's
can do
smart. She's
better.
good business
I have something
mind.
better.
Um, so I just think that this case shows that there are bad, dangerous people right under our noses. They could be anyone. Because this Chris guy, in a few articles, he was described as, liked by many, nice guy, kind of quiet. He worked at a gym as a personal trainer, got along well with everyone. When he switched gyms, his clients followed him. So just nothing, like there wasn't this, "Oh, I knew for a long time he was a creep." Like, it just seemed like he's
How
a
old? So,
totally
how old was he?
so he was 28 when this happened, and
Okay.
Catherine was our age, like 36. So a bit of an
And
age
what did he
difference.
do? What kind of job did he have?
It was kind of one of those things where he didn't really seem to have a clear direction.
Okay.
Mhm.
Ironically, like, I'm laughing because he's a piece of shit person. So he was hired to sell some kind of like safety equipment. Like, he's working for some kind of industrial sales, and he
Okay.
was hired and then fired 2 days later because he hadn't shown up for his first two shifts because he had just murdered someone. So he was just like not worried about work because he
Yeah.
had
Wow.
just
Mine's preoccupied.
yeah. So more importantly, I think that the thing to take away from this is that there are amazing people like Catherine Campbell who in only 36 years of life made such a positive and lasting impact on her community,
Is that the sentence, or do you just need a second?
She needs a
coworkers,
second.
friends, and
Okay.
family.
Mhm.
And it's on a quote from Catherine. So she wrote this for the Truro Police social media post. I guess they had some kind of a campaign. And that's picture number 5. And it says, hashtag reason to rise. One act of kindness can go a long way.
So, what did she do that for?
I'm assuming it's probably during some kind of like community
Promotional.
social media
Yeah.
Oh,
campaign.
okay, 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 got
Just a cute
you.
photo.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot of depth to this case in terms of story because within what
I
six
mean, I
days it was wrapped up.
I kind of wonder if this Christopher guy did have a mental breakdown and some or something triggered like where he maybe had
Yeah.
some mental instability because like you said if he
Yeah.
doesn't have any history
Hmm.
um what triggered that so like I'm not I think obviously he is to blame for her death but I am
Yeah.
wondering what
I,
happened
I
there
I do have some more
to
information
trigger this. Okay.
if you want more context.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he obviously had admitted that his girlfriend and himself had just broken up that day. For what reasons, I didn't find any articles that explained the reasons.
Yeah.
Um, but they had broken up, and he was on depression medication for most of 2015, but had stopped taking it 10 days prior to this, which again is not an
Huh.
excuse. But
No,
his brain
because
chemistry, his brain chemistry could have been really unbalanced, perhaps.
your
But I
mental health is
still
not your fault, but it is your responsibility.
responsibility, exactly.
Right.
I don't see how 1 + 1 = 2. Like, I think maybe we've all
It's
been in a situation where you are in the middle of something and then you have instant regret and you're like, you know what? No, I changed my mind right now. But
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. But to kill someone, like I don't understand. Like we will never know what
it
happened.
yeah, it seems really kind of like out of nowhere that he snapped like this. What was his girlfriend's response when they got back together?
So even when he was arrested, she went with him to court like every day. And she was upset when he got sentenced. I have no idea if they are together. For her sake, I hope not. Because,
Mhm.
like, Jesus Christ, honey. Like,
Yeah,
but they
that
got,
see it's just crazy. It does seem really like out of nowhere. Like there's just
he was
Yeah.
no
described as
warning
like,
signs.
yeah, like, like social and friendly, but, a little on the quieter side. Like, he wasn't like this big, boisterous kind of personality, but nothing,
And
I
he
think
obviously didn't give away any, like, signs that her friends were like, "Oh, you don't go home. You don't go leave with this guy," right?
no, but I mean, to be fair, when I was young and going to clubs and stuff, there were definitely guys who when you're younger, it's harder to see, like, the sleaziness of it, and
For
she's
sure, but
36.
she
You
had
s
more of a
and she's a
developed
cop.
brain.
She's a cop, she's 36, you have to
Yeah.
assume her friend's probably similar age, so, they have life experience, and you
That's
look
what
at
it
someone
seems like there just really were like no warning signs with this person whatsoever. And
which
sometimes there
is
can
which
be.
is extremely
Mhm.
scary, and again,
Yeah.
Yeah.
bad shit happens all over the world, but, like, Halifax is not somewhere where this kind of stuff happens, like, maybe you get robbed. There's definitely, like, sexual assault stuff that's everywhere, especially at university towns,
Yeah.
but something
Yeah.
like this, like, just that it does not happen here.
I would
Right.
love to have been in the court when this was going down and he was trying to explain that like, no, she wanted it and you like smashed her face in and strangled her and you think
Yeah,
that
he was
like
called
I
out.
want to know how that went down in court because I just feel like this would have been a what is it, open
Well,
and shut case.
you're gonna love this. Like, he took the stand in his
Mhm.
defense.
Oh
Oh my
God.
gosh.
No, he
Like,
didn't.
listen, hey, there's a lot of people who were on the defense side who are innocent. Like, 100% that happens. Never take the stand in your defense. I don't care if you are truly innocent.
Yeah.
Don't ever, because
Right. You're just
they're
opening up the potential that their
exactly.
cross-examination just make you seem like a liar, or like to your point, Megan, even if you are innocent, they can still twist things
Assassinate your
around or
character
Even
and
if he
so
had a really
exactly.
bad lawyer, I know his lawyer told him, "Don't do that." Like,
probably.
he must have been he must have had some sort of arrogance on him because you have to take the stand in something like that where you know this is, like, not gonna go your way.
Right.
And it's just there's like, guys, and the evidence, her blood was all over him
Everything. He might as well walked in
inside
covered in
his
blood.
watch. I know.
Yeah,
So
and they
I just
catch you at
I
the
just don't.
scene multiple times. And I'm assuming they could probably have gone through like different other records too, like cell records. I just one thing that how did they know to look at that CCTV
So
footage?
effectively, they kind of just traced her pathway, and
Okay.
then I think that they were checking cameras along routes that that the car would have went because again, like, I'm just going to speculate. I imagine that they were probably able to check her phone or call cab companies, confirm, okay,
Right.
she got a cab, the cab dropped her off at Ale House. They
Yeah.
probably talked to her friend who was there and said,
Mhm.
okay, she went with this guy around this time. They went to the ale house. They used their cameras to confirm
Okay, so they
she
just
is
keep
in. Yeah,
finding.
yeah,
Okay.
she is in the bar. She's with this man, and I don't know if they found out who he
But
was
if
from the
she went back to
cameras.
the house on Macaulay Street, it just I
So
don't know how they
so
end up getting the footage of.
so they really they just checked out cameras along the route just to see if they could find
Oh, okay.
anything, and then that's how they happened to find the camera facing the bridge ramp. And I mean,
Okay.
it is hard to see when oh, I have the clip. Let me give it to you. So I'm gonna send you a link. Okay, so if you want to look at that, it's a minute and some long. It is the footage from the bridge, and there's a lot of just gray. Like, you can make out shapes. You can't like see detail by any means, but it's not until they zoom in on the right hand side
It's
that you
crazy that
see.
they even, like, thought to
Check that.
yeah. And to see something that's like I guess you would think it was weird that some guy was like, I don't understand how people
Oh,
can
oh,
take
oh, sorry. So this is footage, but people said that
Okay.
they saw a man walking down all these streets at 4:30 in the morning, pushing and carrying a green bin. He had no shoes on. So,
Oh, okay, okay.
so
So somebody had
all
already
Okay,
of the
so
called
stuff
him something
someone.
together.
Oh
weird.
yeah, there I see
Okay,
him. Yeah,
okay.
I know
Got
exactly
you.
where this is.
Yeah, I know
I
it's weird,
know.
right?
Like, I used to live in this area.
Oh,
Like,
that's so much more clear in the video there than the okay, yeah. Yeah, that's more clear than I thought it was gonna be, to be honest.
I
Yeah,
mean, you
that
can
is pretty
see
clear.
it's a large human. Like, it's not a girl, it's probably a man, and they're just dragging a bin around, and then that tied with people seeing a man
And like
with a
at one point you
bin.
can clearly tell he has no shoes on as well. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's that is clearly bare feet.
So I don't know if he got any credit for time served because, this happened in 2015, like late 2015, and then the trial didn't happen until a couple years later. But I mean, it'll be like late 2020s, maybe
Okay.
early 2030 when he's eligible for parole. So, like, mark your
That's
calendars.
seems soon.
It does seem soon. And I understand that there is a difference
Yeah.
between, first degree and second degree, but the only difference is thought. Like, you still killed someone, and manslaughter is
Right.
also different. If it was an
But I'm
accident,
also if
this
you were
was
able to snap like that and do this,
that's
like that's
scary.
scary that who's to say you're not going to do that again?
Once again, not as an excuse. I do really wonder what was going through his head at that time in his life at all. Like if you said he went off
Yeah,
I,
like
his
the
I
rocker
think
or
it
breakup, but
was
something
a
like
like
that. Like
crime. I think it was
who's been
a crime of
like
passion, and he had some kind of
no,
like,
I think it was more than that. I think the breakup was probably a symptom of something else.
hmm,
Yeah.
I don't have the
Anyways.
answers. But
No.
if anyone has any insight, like maybe you're a psychologist and by accident you listen to this, you know, maybe let us know
Yeah.
what you think. So that's the
Um,
story. So a little bit shorter than normal because again, it was all wrapped up within like a business week.
yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, thank God because
that's such
things
a I'm
don't
glad they
normally move that
solved it
fast.
so quickly. I
Yeah.
mean, it seemed pretty open and shut, but you never know sometimes.
Well,
Like
I
I'm
mean,
glad he wasn't able to get off. I mean, obviously he has some type of mental issue going on, but it's still like it's dangerous for you to be out right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what kind of mental therapy he's gone through, but
I mean, he's not psychotic.
yeah, to do
Therefore,
this, but
like
just out of the
he knew
blue.
exactly what he was doing and his reasons. Maybe his brain was making sense, but he still thought like reasonably. And he went through great lengths to cover this up. The fact that
Yeah.
he had no shoes on meant to me that he was probably in a state of shock. Like,
Oh
I
my
can't believe what I did.
Or I
But
was thinking maybe he was trying not to leave his shoe prints somewhere.
or maybe there was blood on the shoes. I don't know. I imagine that it all happened. He was like, "What the fuck did I do?"
Yeah,
But
maybe
he
he
went
already
through
got rid of the
great
shoes.
lengths, and then many days later went back to move her body again. So, like, you
Yeah.
can't say that he was out of his mind. Like, he knew exactly what he was doing.
Right.
Lindsay, did you think that you knew something about this case?
Um, I wasn't sure. I'll tell you guys offline what I was gonna
Oh.
tell you because I just don't want to say something that
Elusive.
could be.
If it's
I was trying
really
to find
really
out.
juicy, donate on coffee, and we'll let you listen
We'll
to
tell
it.
you.
Yeah, I need to fact check it first. That's why.
Okay, got
Yeah,
you.
you don't
Yeah.
want to like say random shit that's not true, and then it's out in the
Right.
world for everyone to
Exactly.
hear.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's very responsible of you.
Thank you.
Well, I
Okay,
have a
so
little
listen, this was
happy funny fact for us if you
Yeah.
like.
oh my god,
Oh,
yes. I was
okay.
gonna say
Yeah.
short but sweet, but not at all sweet. But yes, go
No,
ahead.
no. Herring, the fish, use
Mhm.
flatulence to communicate with one another.
Who doesn't?
So they'll
That's
collect.
your love language, right?
It is. They use it at nighttime as protective shoals and to help keep them safe. And it's because it's an audible frequency that other fish don't hear. So they will set it off to like keep each other safe and to be
That's
like,
so
hey, there's
cute.
stuff
That is
around
cute.
us. And they do it by getting air from outside the water, and then they blow it basically like they said it's like blowing a high-pitched raspberry out a little hole
Okay.
near their anus. So it's not
Only
like
the
a fart
freshest
by the
air for
sense of a
you.
fart, but
Oh, it's a
Okay.
fart. No, come on.
Yeah, it's a fart, but
it's essentially a fart.
So
It's a planned
anytime
fart.
your loved one is farting, it's because they want to protect you.
Yeah, it's a protective shoal. Didn't you know?
Oh.
oh,
And anytime that you're in a big school of herring, they're farting on you.
Or am I farting
great.
on them?
Oh, we're farting on each other.
Okay, well that's a nicer
Okay.
way to end this
That's
case.
friendship.
That is
Well,
friendship.
thank you for
So,
sharing
yeah.
this, Megan.
Yes,
I
thank
mean,
you.
I always feel like you're welcome. Like, what do you say? I'm just,
Yeah.
I knew a little bit about the story, and I made it a point to find out more about her. So I used
Mhm.
the Wayback Machine to find more info about her, just her, like through her obituary, just her personality, and she seemed like
Yeah.
just a fucking awesome person. And fuck,
Well, thank you for doing that because yeah, so often like any articles don't really go into those
no.
details.
So, Catherine, you're fantastic, and I'm sure that your cats, Blaze and Justice, are being well taken care
Oh,
of.
yeah, I hope
And
so.
then,
Yeah.
you know what? That was almost 10 years ago. And if
Wow.
they're
Yeah.
not on Earth, maybe they're with you wherever you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Well,
Well,
gonna end that.
bye, Catherine.
Sorry.
Well, thanks, Megan.
Yes. We'll
Thanks
see you
everyone to
guys
listening.
all next week and go find some
Yeah.
herring to fart on you.
After done for on the herring, like, share this podcast with your friends and family. Follow us on YouTube and Instagram. Follow us on Coffee if you want to give us some money. Fantastic. If you want to give $1 for every time a herring's farted on you, even better. And we
Hopefully that's a
will
lot.
see you same time next week, next Wednesday. And we love
Okay.
you.
Okay, bye.
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 Thank you for listening today. We loved having you. If you liked the episode, share with your friends, family, or anyone who would enjoy it. Also, take a moment to review our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Leaving us a like or comment really helps. If you'd like to buy us a coffee, please visit our coffee page at www.ko-fi.com/coastfiles. Email us at coastfilespod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at coastfilespod, or visit our website at www.coastfiles.com. You can find the sources for today's episode on our website. See you next week with a new episode.